It was the night of September 12, 2003, when 24-year-old Emily Carter finished her bartending shift at the Timberline Tavern in Pine Hollow, a quiet mountain town in northern Colorado. She slipped off her apron, grabbed her coat, waved goodnight to her coworkers, and walked out into the crisp alpine air. It was 2:13 a.m. She never made it home. The next morning, Emily's red 1999 Honda Civic was discovered on the shoulder of Highway 36. The car's hazard lights were blinking. The driver's door was slightly open. Inside, her purse sat on the seat, untouched. Her phone was there too, still charged. But Emily had vanished into the night without a trace. For the residents of Pine Hollow, it was a punch to the gut. The town, best known for its ski cabins and coffee shops, hadn't seen a major crime in over a decade. Emily was well-liked. She lived with her younger brother on Willow Lane, studied psychology at the community college, and had a reputation for kindness and ambition. Her sudden disappearance became the talk of every porch, grocery store, and gas station in town. Then came the strange discovery. Investigators learned Emily had a habit. After every shift, instead of driving straight home, she walked 5 blocks away to an abandoned gas station, where an old, still-functioning payphone sat under a flickering streetlight. She would talk there for 10, sometimes 15 minutes, always glancing over her shoulder. When her coworkers asked who she was calling, she'd shrug it off and say, "Just clearing my mind." But the truth might have been much darker. Surveillance footage recovered from a nearby antique store revealed Emily at the payphone that night. She picks up the receiver, starts speaking softly. Then, she suddenly turns, startled, and moves out of frame. Minutes later, her car shows up parked on the side of the highway. Something happened between that payphone and the roadside. And whatever it was, it happened fast. A week later, a local hiker named Chris Denton came forward. He claimed that on the morning after Emily vanished, while walking the trails near Highway 36, he saw someone dragging something heavy into the trees. A large figure in a black hoodie. At the time, it was snowing heavily, and by the time police searched the area, the snow had erased everything. No footprints, no signs of struggle. Chris had a record. He'd been arrested years earlier for stalking a coworker, and police were skeptical. But in 2022, a new DNA sweep on a cigarette but found near Emily's car revealed something chilling, a partial familial match to the Denton family line. Before police could act, another clue emerged, one that tied Emily's case to a chilling pattern. Back in 2005, Allison Gray, a 19-year-old bookstore clerk, vanished while walking home after closing up. A witness claimed to hear a scream near the forest line outside of town. 6 days later, Allison's body was found buried under a thin layer of snow. She'd been strangled. No sign of sexual assault. No DNA left behind. But buried beside her body was a receipt from the Timberline Tavern, the same place where Emily Carter worked. Then in 2009, it happened again. Natalie Hughes, a 27-year-old musician who performed at Timberline on weekends, vanished without a trace. Her acoustic guitar was found leaning against the same abandoned payphone Emily used. Carved into the wood were the words, "Ask her about the man in the green truck." It was the first real lead in years. Locals knew the truck. A forest green Ford F-150 that was often seen parked near the woods outside town. It was registered to Harold Bixby, a retired firefighter in his 60s who lived a reclusive life in a cabin just outside Pine Hollow. Police questioned him in 2010, but found no evidence to hold him. He was odd, but polite. No criminal record. No concrete link to the missing women. Eventually, the case went cold again. Until 2023. That year, Bixby passed away from a heart attack. When officials cleaned out his cabin, they discovered a locked crawl space beneath the floorboards. Inside were 3 worn-out wallets. Each contained a driver's license. One for Emily Carter. One for Allison Gray. One for Natalie Hughes. The town of Pine Hollow was stunned. The media swarmed in. The cold cases were reopened. But the question remained, was Bixby the killer? Or was he keeping souvenirs for someone else? Then in March 2024, a woman named Marissa Lane, a former waitress from Timberline now living in Seattle, came forward. She revealed something no one else had known. Emily had confided in her shortly before disappearing. She told Marissa that the man on the other end of those payphone calls knew things, deep, personal things. He claimed she reminded him of someone he lost. He made her promise not to stop calling. And when she tried, he threatened her younger brother. The case reached a fever pitch. Then, a final twist. In April 2024, the new owner of the Timberline Tavern decided to renovate the bar. During demolition, workers discovered a sealed space behind the liquor shelves. A narrow cavity, filled with insulation. And inside, a shoebox. Inside that shoebox, 6 cassette tapes, each labeled with a date. The first was dated September 12, 2003. The last, August 14, 2009. The first tape was quickly analyzed. It contained a voice believed to be Emily's. She was crying, whispering, repeating one word over and over. Stop. 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 What's on the other tapes is still under review by forensic audio experts. But Pine Hollow knows one thing. The truth is finally surfacing. The killer might be dead. Or he might still be watching. Some locals believe Bixby didn't act alone. Others wonder how many more victims might be out there, never connected to the same pattern. And most haunting of all, no one knows who was on the other end of that phone line. Thanks for watching. Kindly click to subscribe.